name. Probably going to pronounce this incorrectly, and along with many other words, but Dabangg 3 means fearless. Did you see it? I did. One sentence summary. When a man who killed his first love returns, Inspector Chabul Pandi has a very long flashback and then murders everybody. Could you beat the villain? Yeah, probably. Barley Singh is a badass gangster man who did the murdering of Chabul's first love. And Barley, he seems to be pretty dangerous. You know, he's got a garden full of murdered people that he's planted roses on top of. Um, and he survived being pushed off a cliff whilst trapped in a car, a big cliff as well. So he's pretty pretty tough as nails. But it seems that when people fight back against him, he doesn't do well. So I reckon I could take him. How would you improve the film? So this is the third instalment in a trilogy, of which I've seen none of the others. So, you know, some of the stuff I don't get is probably down to me not understanding the characters and that they're from the planet Krypton. But, a couple of notes. The film was too long. If you cut out half the slow motion, it would be 10 minutes shorter. Also, the intro is like a cold open, like a Bond movie, where Trouble beats up a bunch of robbers who... Forget that bit. Started with the bit where Trouble's brother thinks he can take on a bunch of people traffickers. He gets in over his head, and Trouble comes in and saves the day. That's the incident which starts the plot. So you should have just started there. And it's basically the same because he just whoops a bunch of dudes' asses. Cut out the last song. The lady was very pretty. No one's going to deny that. But it didn't do anything. It didn't advance the plot in any way. So just get rid of it. Also cut out a couple of the comic relief characters. Charbul is... he's a mix of like Police Sergeant Nicholas Angel from Hot Fuzz, the Punisher, any character The Rock has played, and also emo dancing Peter Parker. By which I mean he is the law, he breaks the law, he's tough as nails, but he can't dance for absolute toffee. It's not one of his strong suits. Anyways, Charbul, he's a policeman, he's a police inspector, but he doesn't start by trying to arrest anyone. He just goes in there and beats the crap out of anyone who hopefully is a suspect in the crime. He doesn't really seem to judge. And then later, the suspects who have been arrested after they've been mercilessly beaten by him, they're getting beaten whilst in a police cell, and it's done for like a laugh. I was like, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. And there's another bit where one of his colleagues makes a remark about wanting a promotion. So Trouble shoots him in the arm and then gets all of, the other police officers to lie about how it happened. And he's the hero of the story because it's all done for laughs. And yeah, he does seem to have a cult of personality / fear around him because everyone's like, oh man, he's super cool. And then when he leaves the police station, no one really wants to like take his call. And then when he walks in, like as someone's saying, "Oh, I want to take a call from that guy. He's a dick." He walks in, and everyone's like, "Uh oh," and he slaps the shit out of some people, fellow police officers, and it's dark, really. Anyways, the flashback that goes on too long. Charbul is supposed to be younger. You can tell so because he hasn't got his moustache. Speaking of, the Ray-Ban sunglasses he's gone and the moustache make it look like Freddie Mercury is fighting crime. It's very confusing. A jacked Freddie Mercury, I might add. The flashback. Charbul's younger because he hasn't got his moustache, but I don't quite know how young he was supposed to be because he still looked like an old man. Anyways, he sees a photograph of a 17-year-old girl and falls in love with her instantly. Bit weird. And the arranged marriage, obviously I know that's a cultural thing, and Charbul does go out of his way to say, oh, I hope this arranged marriage is okay with you, love interest. And she says, yeah, it is. Even though she doesn't know his name at this point. And it does seem quite clear that the uncle and aunt, who are this girl's guardians, Trouble is going to give them the dowry instead of the other way around. So he's basically bought her, and they seem very cool with that. Anyways, also during the flashback, the characters seem to be watching themselves on a cinema screen. That was confusing. And so Jabal describes himself as like an outlaw cop. He's like the Robin Hood type fella. And in the flashback, not only does he torture a bunch of criminals, I assume criminals, that we see them counting money and they do kind of like run him off the road on his bike, but they might just be busy businessmen. Anyway, so he tortures these guys, and then writes his name like in full on someone's neck with a biro, and a police officer sees this, and presumably this is not followed up on because it seems like Jabal keeps the money he stole from those dudes who stole it from somewhere to pay off his lady friends like student fees. That doesn't seem like Robin Hood to me if you're keeping the money for your own purposes, but there we goes. The evil dude should have been the one to beat the crap out of Trouble in the flashback, because the entire film, Trouble like basically one punch kills everybody, and there's no threat to him. But in the flashback, because you know his lady friend's got to die, some dudes with sticks knock him to the ground, and yeah, that's not very exciting. So should have been Barley Singh. They're getting some fisticuffs. Barley Singh beats Trouble up, and that's why he can't save his lady friend. And then once it gets to the final confrontation at the end of the film, there's a bit of tension because you don't just think Trouble's going to wreck this dude, which he does. Anyways, it would also explain why later in the film, after the wife has been blown up, I'll come back to that later, I'm sure, Trouble doesn't do anything because like the evil dude is in her hospital room and he's taunting Trouble. If kind of the first time they met, Barley wrecked Trouble, that would explain why Trouble doesn't automatically just snap this dude's neck in the hotel room when he's taunting him. Anyway, hotel room, hospital room. Anyways, right. The evil dude. He runs someone over in the flashback, and the love interest, whose name I can't remember, and the love interest sees the victim of this running over, and she wants to help him, but her friends don't for some reason. And then the evil dude, Barley Singh, he sees this, he's like, oh, fancy a bit of that. So purposefully gets himself hit by a car so he can spend some time with her. And it works for Mighty McFly, but I don't think that's a good way of wooing a lady. Anyways, in what I assume was a homage to Batman vs Superman, Trouble gets in the bath with his missus whilst he's fully clothed. She's also fully clothed for reasons. And he drinks her bath water. Ugh, don't do that, that's gross. Why did he put shaving foam on his moustache if he had no intention of shaving it off? Trouble shouldn't have trusted those dirty cops. Because basically the only reason they agreed to work with him is because they didn't want to die. And I get the feeling that at the first opportunity they will probably betray him. Anyways. So the wife, she gets attacked by some evil dudes. She gets blown up at the market, and then she gets kidnapped later in the film. As I've mentioned previously, the film was too long, right? Just have, maybe, if you've got to have more than one, she gets either blown up or attacked, and then kidnapped. Or just have one of them. Anyways, she's getting kidnapped, and Trouble's like dad and his son see her getting like hauled away, and grandpa, he phones up Trouble. He's like, oh no, bloody hell, your wife's been kidnapped. And Trouble says something along the lines of, you cook dinner tonight, we'll all eat together. Not like, don't worry, tell my son that his mother's coming home, or something along those lines, or get yourself to safety, cook dinner, I'll be hungry when I get home. Anyways, you would have thought as well, after like the people who were sitting near me, first off, they were trying to sit in my seat. I ain't playing that game. I had to make a move. Anyway, the people who were sitting down there in the intermission mentioned that, like, oh, It's always bloody his wife getting kidnapped or his mum dying or something like that. So presumably this has happened before. It happens like at least once before she gets kidnapped in the film. Why hasn't Chabal taught her how to use a shotgun or something? Or got some extra security at home? Anyway, that's besides the point. Rating out of 5 beers. I'm going to give this a 2. So the brother, he had the best moustache I've seen in a long old while. He was an absolute inspiration. And yeah, I wasn't sure, kind of the history of the characters, but I did get a good sense that, he's in Chabal's an absolute beast, but he's got a soft side as well. Quite funny. There we go. So yeah, 2 out of 5. It was no war, but nothing is. So there you go.